Hello, everybody. My name is Tom Quinlan, and I'm the Managing Director of ALHomecare, the live-in care specialist. And today I'm joined by one of our families, Aoife, who's very kindly agreed to talk to me today about her experience of having a live-in care from ALHomecare. Hello, Aoife. How are you?
Good, Tom. Good, Tom. Thank you.
Great, Aoife. So, Aoife, what led you to contact ALHomecare in the first place?
Yeah. So, gosh, about my mum would have been diagnosed with dementia in her early 70s and was quite, a high functioning woman. So for a long time, things were good. She would have needed minimal care. And then I guess as the years went on, it was quite apparent that her needs were becoming more pronounced, maybe particularly in areas like self-care. Like she lived with my dad at the time, and there would have been certain areas that he might have been more comfortable or less comfortable in helping out on. So there just came a stage whereby maybe things like, it became clear that she needed more supervision or that there was more dangers and, she was more vulnerable, in terms of how she spent her time, which traditionally would have been fiercely independent. But there came a time where it was just clear that she needed more support and more stimulation in order to keep her out of vulnerable situations. So while the family would have done a lot and, taken on some casual care, obviously hours just weren't the hours she would have been most vulnerable, in the evenings. And so it was just a case of we tried certain things, but there came a point where it just wasn't happening. And I just started researching what was out there.
Okay, very good, Aoife. And
Yeah. And I actually remember one day typing in affordable home care.
so you nearly
So
had our
the
exact name. Okay, thank you,
Yes,
Aoife. Well
yes,
done.
yes. And that's where it came up. And I remember I'd never heard of it before, but I remember thinking that that's what I needed. That's what I needed. Yeah.
Great, super. Well, I'm glad you found us, Aoife. So, Aoife, what advantages did live-in care bring for your mom and for your family in general?
Gosh, advantages. Like it was just transformative. It wasn't a set of advantages. It was that altogether it enabled both my mom to function at a level that she hadn't been functioning at, and to receive just very high quality, individualized, kind of person centered care. And at the same time, that enabled the rest of us, which was me in particular living next door and my family, to get on with our lives really without the fear of, oh God, what will happen if? And with the demands of work and children of my own, it just it enabled all of us, just it kind of enabled life to go back to what would have been normal a few years before that. Yeah. So it was transformative. It wasn't a set of advantages. It was just simply life changing
Brilliant. I'm delighted, Aoife.
for everyone's betterment. I mean, that's the piece I can't emphasize enough, that it wasn't just about, oh, that's good quality care, we leave it at that. I mean, when a person that you know well and that you love just requires so much kind of person centered, sensitive, attuned care, much like a young child. It's just the difference between having confidence in that and then being able to get on with your own life. I mean, that was really what we got through ALHomecare. Yeah, it was.
Great, Aoife. And in practical terms, what did the care do for your mom on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. Well, I suppose the most important part of it all was that they really got on and they liked each other. And that was just so central to what we as a family were looking for, because we knew that would be very important to my mom. Because, before that, there would have been maybe HSE care packages or people running in for 10 minutes. And it was just disruptive and distressing. And there wouldn't have been opportunity, even out of good intentions and nice people. There was no opportunity for people to be with somebody in a genuine, authentically caring way without having a job to do. So, I mean, gosh, what started out as quite a minimal, small contract of maybe 20 hours a week very much targeting the specific kind of vulnerable times or the important times for someone else to be there, like say to get the person dressed and oriented and medicated for the day or whatever those kind of specific care pieces were. Like initially I thought that was the most important, but really what became far more important was the quality of how the time was spent. So it was much more about, what this particular carer that we got, who was just first class, how she spent her time, and she was so extraordinarily trustworthy. It felt like another sibling had come on the map. It really did. And a sibling who, unlike the rest of us, was available, laid back, and yet completely hypervigilant to what was going on, but that it was really important to her, and it just was. She was amazing.
Great, Aoife. I'm delighted to hear it. And Aoife,
Mm.
finally, what advice would you have for a family right now that might be struggling with the care needs of an elderly relative?
I mean, I think every individual family has different capacities. Every, person who needs care has different vulnerabilities, different personality traits. I suppose we were very nervous at the beginning as to whether my mum would accept a person. And, it was quite amazing how she just really did. But possibly because, I mean, the house needed to have its own bedroom and bathroom and its own kind of space for this person. So I think that was very important that we cared for the carer well and had a good standard of care for her. But the question there, Tom, was what advice I'd have. Yeah. So I think the place for ALHomecare more than any other place, well, from my experience, is those years between absolutely having to have full-time 24/7 nursing care and the place where there is a diagnosis or not, but just where there's very apparent care needs that just can overwhelm the capacity of the family as they are. So kind of the gap between this position and this position, which typically takes an emergency or some crisis to kind of tip into the fact that the person will require 24/7 care. So if you're not in 24/7 care, but you're certainly in a care window that is beyond the capacity of the family as it exists, that's where I think ALHomecare can just provide just such a quality of cover for that gap that I don't think other models on the market do. And I know that my own experience was more dementia. I mean, I've no doubt that those same high quality carers could provide good care for a myriad of other presentations, or, it doesn't have to be, Alzheimer's or anything like that. But I just am so surprised that it was so easy in a way, that it just worked because the carer was of such a high quality, and just listened to us and listened to my mum and what she felt she needed, and was just able to provide that. And yet, she joined our family. There was no doubt about it, and is still a very important person to us, So I think it's that gap between, when it's very important for the person themselves to be living at home, when living at home is key to that person's well-being. That's where I think ALHomecare really comes in. And in dementia, there just really is a time where the house orients the person, where, like it is like the kind of harbor for them, that every activity, going back home, going for a walk to return home, when home is the anchor. And that's where I think live-in care is just second to none. But the affordability is key to it as well for most people, I'd imagine.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Aoife. That's been really insightful and so interesting listening to you talk about your experiences there. And I'm sure families will really appreciate the fact that you've been willing to come on and talk about your experiences. And a lot of families will benefit from this. So thank you so much, Aoife, and I wish you and your family the very best.
Appreciate that, Tom. Yes, all the best. You deserve it.
Thank you, Aoife. Bye now.
Okay. Bye-bye.